G'day legends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tony and this is the Mighty Jimny, where I'll be taking you on all of my West Australian outback and overlanding adventures. And today I'm at Racing Dynamics with my good mate Phil, and we're going to be doing some work to the Jimny. So first off, good to see you again, my friend. It's been a long time.
It has.
And so tell me a little bit about Racing Dynamics.
So Racing Dynamics here in WA, basically a workshop looking after European vehicles, a lot of servicing, performance upgrades, and we also all motorsport guys as well, so do a lot of motorsport preparation and builds through the workshop.
Fantastic. How long have you been in the mechanic industry itself, mate?
Look, getting on nearly 11 years if you don't count any of the work prior to that, but yeah, a while.
Excellent. All right, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of work for the Mighty Jimny. This first video we're going to be getting the GME XRS 330 CB installed, which is a fantastic piece of kit, and then in the second video we're going to be installing some extra spotlights and working lights on the roof rack. So tell me about the UHF install, mate. How do you reckon that one's going to go?
Look, the GME stuff, it's pretty good. I've used them personally in my own vehicles in the past. Look, the kit you've got today, nice. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We've got all the little accessories and everything we need to fit it. It'll be nice, neatly installed with minimal hassle.
Excellente. So you go get yourself a nice cold beer or a warm drink, seeing it's winter, and we'll do all the hard work. Crack on, enjoy. Rightio legends, so this is what we've got to work with today, the GME XRS 330, and I picked up the Connect Outback pack. Now this is the full pack in regards to all of your aerial and everything else that you'll need to do the job. So what comes inside the actual pack? Well, first off, you get a pretty cool sticker, so I'm happy with that. I love stickers. You've got the actual CB unit that's here, the handpiece. Now the good thing about these ones is everything on the XRS 330 and the 370 is controlled by the handpiece. So this part here will actually be hidden up under the dash at some point, which is fantastic, and then this will be the only piece that will be visible. You've got your actual handpiece connector that will go onto the dash somewhere, and I'll be able to hang that off there for that one. Your little through connector for your cabling, which will actually come from the CB unit and then up through the firewall, and then you've got your actual aerial itself. Now this aerial, I do believe it comes with is a 2.1 dB, I believe. Don't quote me on that one, but particularly good for when you're doing your full drive stuff. And then if you've also got your power cables there, pretty good and pretty extensive little kit. I do recommend picking up the Outback pack, mainly because you do get your aerial and everything like that with it, which is particularly handy to save a little bit of cash. If you just pick up the CB part here, it doesn't come with the aerial, so you're going to stitch yourself up for a little bit of extra cash there. So we're going to get stuck into the install, and with any luck we'll get this one done pretty quickly.
Alright guys, so here we have the GME aerial that came with the Outback pack. Obviously going to fit it to the bull bar in the front here that Tony has requested. So this bull bar has a little grommet here that we're going to remove. Perfect placement for the aerial, so it'll still be behind the bar to save it from a couple of knocks and dings. Look, they are sprung anyway, so they do have a bit of give in them. And the good part about this is then we can run the wiring from under the bull bar up in behind the light assembly. It'll run along the main harness of the chassis here and then back through one of the factory grommets for the factory wiring. So it'll be a nice neat little run, no chafing, no rubbing, which is a good thing, and then back through the waterproof grommet. Alright guys, we're just about to put the coax cable through the firewall grommet in the car. Little disclaimer here, just be careful. Especially I've got a little pick tool here that I'm going to use to pierce the rubber to allow us to obviously make the correct size hole to feed the cable through. The cables go, wiring goes through both sides. So you need to be careful you don't catch any cabling, any wiring, you don't want to chafe or rub through anything, or worst case scenario, snap some wires that run into the car and you find all sorts of weird electrical gremlins start after that. So the good thing is with the Jimny on both sides, it's pretty clear. We are going to go on the top side of the grommet, so just above the wiring harness. It is quite soft up through the top there, which means we should miss all of the cabling that runs on the opposite side. I have looked both ends, so I do know where I want to run it, and having it high there as well is going to be a good thing. So yeah, just be a bit careful. Don't go stabbing it in there and hoping that it's all going to go well. Just take a couple of seconds just to make sure it's going to go really well. If you've got a mate, get them in the other side of the car just to make sure it's coming through nicely. But yeah, we'll get this going and feed the cable through.
So we'll be taking the glove box out. This is pretty straightforward to do. It's just a couple of little squeeze in hinges on the side there. Yep. And then once that comes out, give you a bit of extra access down underneath.
So yeah, so the grommet, it's sat behind just where obviously just all the body control module and the fuse box is. So we'll run it back through the grommet through here for the aerial, and you know, if the unit's in this sort of general area, it's just going to be a nice little cable run, and then obviously we've got plenty of cabling internally to run to the bulkhead for the CB hand unit, and also we've got plenty of options for taking some ignition power.
Alrighty, so you can see there, Phil's got the coax cable just coming through now, and it's just slowly coming through. Now with this, if you make a small enough piercing, it's going to seal pretty well by itself anyway. So pull your cable through nice and slowly, and even lube it up a little bit on the other side with some silicone spray or some petroleum jelly or something like that, and it's going to come through really nice and smoothly and be quite a professional job. So we're going to pull that through now and hook it up to the back of the unit, and finish up the cabling, get the excess coiled up and cable tied in.
Neat little spot just here on the blower inside the under the dash here. It's got some pre-existing holes, so I dare say that's there for cable runs or something else on potentially a different model, or if they use this particular blower motor in another Suzuki somewhere along the lines. But perfect positioning for the bracket there. So the bolts are a touch long, just wanted to sort of get an idea, but this means we can hard mount the control box there to the unit. It's not zip tied in or stuck down with tape or anything like that, so it's going to be nice and secure. Plus it's in a really good position because the back of the unit has obviously the aerial jack there, and the aerial cable's going to come through just in over here behind this module where this wiring harness grommet is. So it's going to come straight in, nice little run, straight into the back of the unit, which is perfect. But then it also gives us good access to the front, where we've got obviously the cable for the handpiece, which we can then zip basically secure around the front, and also perfect location because we've got the fuse box and some other areas there. We'll be able to pick up some ignition power to power the whole thing up.
Fantastic.
It's not too bad. Not too bad at all.
To be
pretty good. We're not drilling holes, we're not zip tying things up, and as I said, using, you know, Junk's double-sided tape. You know, there are good ones out there for, you know, different for different applications, but there is a little bit of weight to it. You know, we're only talking grams, but in the grand scheme of things, when
you're bush bashing around the place, mate, and you're going down some decent four-wheel drive tracks, you want things to be nice and secure. You also don't want that weird rattle. And there is nothing worse than driving down the freeway and going, what's that rattling noise? And then you find out it's deep. It's deep back there, mate. You don't know where it's coming from. No, you can only turn your radio up and drown it out.
That's it. So this is a nice little spot. Perfect. No drilling, no nothing. We've just supplied a couple of little flat style fasteners there. So obviously they're semi countersunk, and then some nylock bolts, nuts for the back. That means they're not going to rattle loose and carry on, and as you said, get that nasty little rattle we take half your car apart. But
pretty good, and yeah, thanks Suzuki for giving me somewhere to mount it.
Yeah, put that in the wing column. Cheers. So I've just run the power and earth connectors from the back of the unit. So you can see here it's got an inline wire fuse that comes from factory, which is great because we don't have to supply any fuses or fuse boxes or anything like that. And then I've just picked up basically the earth from the factory earth point, which is super convenient, and obviously just cut the wire to suit, re-crimped it with a crimp ring terminal, so it's all bolted down nicely. Obviously the fuse holder will tuck up and secure up here, and then I've got the actual 12-volt power wire. I'll secure that to the factory existing wiring harness, and we'll take it up to the top there and grab the power. You beauty.
Righto, so we're just under here, just looking at the fuse box, looking for some switched 12-volt power for the UHF. So what that means is obviously it's got 12-volt power when the ignition's on the accessories position, so it doesn't have full-time live power like if you put it straight to the battery. Good thing is that way if you leave the UHF on and the car's off, it's not going to be sucking battery power and you come back to a flat battery.
Alright, so which one are we going to choose here?
I've got my power probe here. I'm just going to go back through and basically do a little back probe test, see what is live and not live when the ignition is on, and then obviously we can just double check that to make sure we're not pulling any power off something that we shouldn't be. Alright guys, so obviously we already saw that I was putting down the earth cable before. We've obviously secured the fuse to the factory harness, and the power feed that I was going to use that we found further up off this plug here for one of the units. The cabling runs all the way down the bottom here, which is great because it means obviously I can tee into the wiring down here. I've got ease of access, and obviously it's going to make the job a lot neater with less wiring hanging out and that needs securing. Also means in the event that we have an issue, whether we're having fuses blow or anything weird and wonderful that may arise, then we know exactly where we've teed in for power, and it's simple and easy to access and diagnose any issues. But in saying that, we're putting it in a very neat, straightforward way, so I dare say issues will be non-existent. Yeah, so that's all sorted. I've left a bit of length on the power wire for ease of if we need to work on it at any stage. So, some people call them, service loops or whatever else. So just a little bit extra length. There's no point making it too short and then you can't work on it at a later stage if you need to remove it or adjust it or do anything else. So I've just left a little bit of length. Obviously that'll cable tie up and we'll secure it nicely so that won't be rubbing or carrying on. We'll zip tie the original wiring back into its space there. It's got a little place there for a zip tie to hold it, and pretty much that's the power to the unit sorted, and then we'll start on the stuff that you'll actually be able to see in the cabin of the car. Alright guys, as you can see we've got the coax cable in the back of the main unit. Look, it's a pretty simple, straightforward single pin. Slide that in nice and gently, and then obviously just tighten up the little tab on the back there, the screw. So, and you can obviously see the battery cable that we'd already installed previously. So that's now great to put back into its mounting bracket and secure that one. Look, while we're there, the rest of the coax cable, they just come with way too much. They're a universal kit. They're designed to fit every vehicle under the sun, so they give you more than enough. Now, unfortunately, without specialty tools, you can't shorten them unless you're an audio-visual technician and you have those cool little gadgets to do so. So unfortunately, we had to coil it up. So I pre-zip tied it in place before mounting it on top of here. Nice little area there. I've used just a nice zip tie, and that secured that cabling up out of the way. With all the extra length that we don't need. So we're just mounting the unit here. So comes with these perfect little twist screws. So we're not using any tooling to put them in. They are just a small fine thread. So there's a hole in the top of the base bracket and some securing screw threads that are inside the unit. And it's simply a matter of, let me just get this in and I'll show you.
So simply just a matter of screwing them in by hand, hand tight. You don't need a reef on them. They're only a plastic unit, so you don't want to go cracking the plastic or the actual retaining nuts out of the plastic. As long as it's in, obviously just a little bit of fiddling there and I'll get that tight. Perfect, and it'll be secure. Alright guys, we finished with the install underneath the glove box area there for the power and the comms cable. So now we need to pull the front fascia off the center console here so we can fit the small Cat 5 adapter. So that's a little bulkhead fitting there. We're going to fit it in the plastic console here, so we need to remove it so we can obviously drill the correct size hole and mount it correctly, and then we'll run the Cat 5 cable from the control module to this. That will allow us then to have all the bits and pieces hidden under the dash there where it doesn't need to be seen, and then we can just literally plug in the handpiece, which has got all the functionality in it. So we'll get to pulling this center console out and we'll have a look underneath.
Alright, so what are you doing now, mate?
Cool, so we've just figured out where we're going to fit the Cat 5 bulkhead adapter. So basically allowing us to run the Cat 5 cable behind the dash and out of the way. And then we'll use the adapter that's been supplied, which is this nice little bit of kit here. Has the female Cat 5 in both. And what we've decided is we're going to mount the unit just down here in the side of this little center console area there, so that'll flush mount there nice and neatly. Plenty of room behind for the actual adapter and the cabling, and then this will allow us then to fit the handpiece here. It's a nice looking bit of kit. The external Cat 5 cable, which is the handpiece, to plug in down here. And then we've decided we're going to mount the handpiece just off of this section here. So behind these little grommets, there's an actual thread and bolt assembly, and we'll be able to mount the handpiece holder there, which is good. It means the cable's not going to be banging into your legs and wobbling around while you're driving around. Obviously, might be a slightly bit inconvenient for your passenger, but I'm sure they're not going to matter, considering how much fun they'll be having cruising around in the Jimny. But we think this is probably the best solution, especially if you're soloing, whether that be full driving or camping, which I know you like to do a lot of, Tony. So yeah, I think that'll be the best solution. So we've got the little Cat 5 adapter here. So I'm just using a set of verniers, just working out exactly what sort of size we want to drill for it, so it's not loose in there. Look, with the threads, you've got to account for the threads, obviously, there, don't go off the small flat section, looking about 24 mil. So we'll use a nice little step drill here, and we'll come around, and I've already pre-marked just here, and obviously we'll step drill in here, mount the unit, happy days, and we can bolt that back in. Awesome. Hi guys, so not sure if any of you guys have seen these before, but this is what we call a step drill. Really handy for fitting switches and drilling specific size holes, especially in the automotive industry. But basically each step is a different size. This one goes up in 3 mil increments, and obviously we've got to go up to 24 mil, so it's quite sort of halfway up this large size. So we'll get to drilling, and will give us the perfect size hole for the adapter. Cool, just using a little deburring tool here. Use it a lot for metal work, pipe work, and obviously cleaning up some plastic. And as you can see, a little jam, perfect size, drops on in. Got the little plastic retaining nut on the back. So obviously when doing these up, don't reef on them. They don't need to be superhuman tight. They're just there to retain it. Obviously you don't want to damage the threads. Have the little jam. GME logo the right way. Look at that, I'm upside down already. But look, nice, neat, flush mount finish, ready to go back in. Alright guys, last piece of the puzzle, mounting the handpiece mount, funnily enough, which is this little unit here. Now we're utilising an M8 thread that already exists just here, there in the good old Jesus bar. So we've removed the little fake plastic bolt from that one. Now we've drilled the back of the holder out, so we can literally, it's going to fit in there and screw in nicely. Now this is the little interim holder for the moment. Tony mentioned he's going to organise a nice little replacement unit to go on there, but at least we'll be able to bolt this on for that one. We'll assemble the two halves nicely there. Handpiece will go in. Happy days.
So this is the moment of truth. We're now finished with the GME install. As you can see, Phil's done a fantastic job. So we've got the handpiece here down into the side of the fascia there. Really beautiful little flush mount job there, which is fantastic. And we've got the actual handpiece holder just mounted to one of the little mounting points on the dash here. So that's perfect. And from the driving position, you can see that it's quite easy to get. All right, so the moment of truth. Let's make sure this bad boy works when we turn on. So we're going into accessories, and look at that, straight on, happy days right there. So there we go. We can, easy as that, pull this one off. Now I'll go through and make sure that this is fully set up with the programming and everything like that, but for the most part that is this build complete. So we'll do a little bit of an outro on this one, but so far this has been a really successful little install, and hopefully if you're looking to install your GME, hopefully it's helped a fair bit. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. So that was the GME XRS 330 install. Hopefully that will help you install this piece of kit to your own Jimny. So a pretty good little step-by-step guide for you. So once again, look, Phil, thanks very much, mate.
My pleasure.
Absolute bang-up job. If you're into your European cars, make sure you come give Phil a call, and I'm sure that it'll help you out. So once again, guys, look, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe, and if this has helped you out, feel free to leave a comment below. And look, there's going to be a lot more content coming soon, so stay tuned. We're going to finish up for the rest of the day and finish off with the Spotlight install, which will be the second part to this little how-to series. So stay tuned for that one and enjoy. Cheers, guys.